For a long time, Australia has been a nation of carnivores. But over the past decade, growing concerns around the environmental and ethical consequences of meat production have started to feed into our diets.
Whether you like it or not, the way that we eat as people is not sustainable, so we have to think of a better option.
Today, 2 in 5 Australians say they're actively trying to reduce their meat consumption, motivating top vegan chefs like Shannon Martinez to keep raising the bar for plant-based meat alternatives.
It's got that beautiful smokiness, really good texture when you bite into it. Just a really full flavour as well. It's delicious.
But at the Magic Valley Lab in inner city Melbourne, a team of food scientists led by CEO Paul Bevan are cooking up a product that could completely change the culinary conversation.
So, Paul, what are cultivated meats?
Cultivated meat is a real meat product that we grow up in the lab from a small skin sample from a living animal.
So you're telling me that I could be eating a piece of beef and the cow it came from is still alive?
It's exactly right. So cultivated meat is created when we take a small sample of cells from a living animal that goes on continuing to live its normal natural life. We take those cells into the lab, turn them into stem cells, grow them up into muscle and fat and create a real meat product. No animal slaughter involved.
And nutritionally speaking, the sort of the end product, is that exactly the same as, say, a real piece of lamb?
It's probably better, to be honest. Molecularly, the cells are identical, so the muscle and fat, etc. But because we're doing it in a controlled environment, we've got the ability to tailor the nutritional profile. So that means we can add additional protein content, omega-3s, etc., vitamins, minerals, and also reduce the saturated fat content. So we think overall the health profile should be even better than traditionally farmed products.
It sounds like the stuff of science fiction, but in fact, the first cultivated beef patty was developed over a decade ago in the Netherlands for a production cost of about $325,000. Since then, over 150 companies worldwide have joined the race to bring affordable, lab-grown meat to supermarket shelves.
At the moment, we're still at small scale. What we've completed so far is a minced lamb and a minced pork product. So those minced meat products at the moment would probably cost us around $42 to $44 a kilo to produce, which is probably roughly double what the cost of a premium minced lamb product would cost from traditional methods. Once we're at scale, though, and up and running with larger facilities and can take advantage of economies of scale, we think we'll be able to get that price down to around $6 a kilo, which would obviously be far cheaper than current prices for traditionally farmed mince.
Whilst it remains to be seen just how eager the public will be to try this mould-breaking mincemeat, alternative protein advocate Dr. Simon Esom believes these products could one day play a major role in tackling food insecurity.
Food production and food systems are about technology and using technology to increase yield, to provide more and more food and to provide more and more nutrition to a growing population. Now, we're at the point with animal agriculture that there's a limit to how much further we can go. And yet we don't have the land, we don't have the water resources, and we have all sorts of problems around potential zoonotic diseases and so on. So we're at the limit of what animal agriculture can do. As an alternative, cultivated meat is taking our science and knowledge and understanding with technology to create exactly the same product, but without all of those downsides and negative effects of our traditional animal agriculture. It's in very early stages, but the technology's been proven, and we've had 2 very, very stringent food regulation authorities, one most recently in the US, that has said these foods are safe. So if we can actually begin to scale these to the size we need, then this is a very viable alternative.
Magic Valley are hoping to see their mince products approved for sale in Australia as soon as next year. But for now, Paul is giving me a taste of the future in the form of a cultivated pork dumpling.
It's totally delicious. It tastes just like real meat. I guess that's because it is real meat.
Absolutely, yeah, that's exactly how it's meant to taste.
I mean, it has the same texture to it. It's got the same flavour as well. And then I can't quite get my head around the fact that the animal that made this is sort of still out there, probably having a nice day. But it's a really, really good product.
What would you like to see in the future? So you've conquered sort of pork and lamb. Do we have a T-bone steak in the horizon?
Yeah, so we would call that a structured product, which is probably, a little way down the track for us. After we've completed what we're working on in terms of lamb and pork, we'll be looking at beef next. Ideally, we'll look at all farmed animal species as well as aquatic species eventually as well.
There are obvious benefits to this, but do you think it's going to take a while for the public to get their heads around the idea?
Yeah, I think as with any new product or technology, there will be some resistance initially. A lot of people don't like change, but I think over the long run, particularly with a huge amount of consumer education around the process, we think there'll be a large uptake further down the track.